And welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, here to give you another movie review. This time around, we're going to be talking about Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
The daughters of Atlas are coming to hunt us.
Children stole the power of the gods. You ripped it from our father's core.
Okay, I feel like maybe I should be writing all this down.
And we're back at it again with Billy Batson and the family with, a very intriguing and baffling second run of Shazam. The first film, I'll say, in my opinion, was very enjoyable. I really liked it. This was in the early days when there was still a little bit more prospects when it came to DC films. I'll say that. Now, I'm going to start out with the plot itself for Shazam, Fury of the Gods, is like I like what they were trying to do. It's just there's a lot of missed stones here and there, a little bit of tripping here, because for the most part I see what they were trying to do, and it just felt underwhelming. I'll say now that the performances by Zachary Levi and Asher Angel, I believe that's the name of Billy Batson's child form, they do a reasonably good job with what they're trying to do with this character, where Billy is trying to kind of basically gain some semblance of what he's been through a lot. He's gone through a lot in his young childhood and adolescence, and he's finally found this family dynamic, but he's afraid of losing it. And I like what they were trying to do with the storytelling. It just felt at points very underwhelming, and that's where I felt the film lost its pacing when they were trying to do it. There are moments that it brings it up, but it just doesn't live up to what they were trying to do. I'll give a second note to some of the other supporting cast. For sure, the actor who plays Freddy, I believe that's Jack Dylan Garza, I think that's his name, the child version. He does a really fun job of like playing kind of second lead throughout the film, kind of gaining like more of an independence, more of their just trying to do his own thing without worrying too much, while using his newfound abilities as part of the Shazam family. Now, a superhero film wouldn't be anything without its antagonist. You have three individual actresses playing the daughters of Atlas. The Lucy Liu as Calypso. You have, what is it? Is it Helen God, it's, how do you pronounce her last name? I always forget. Miren, I think that's her last name, because I've seen her in like the Fast film franchise. That's the only reason I remember. And what's the other name of the other girl who plays Anne? Oh my god, I can't remember. Why can't I remember where she... But anyways, for now, they do a reasonable good job, but that's kind of where then you kind of get into a point where the way the antagonist kind of feels is like there's some decent writing. There's a couple characters that I wish they expanded upon for their motivations and the reason, because it felt flat during Act 3 when it came to the villains. It just wasn't all there, and that's kind of where it faltered for me, and that's kind of this disappointing part, because throughout the film there is a reasonable amount of like story where you get the daughters of Atlas trying to regain basically their abilities that was stolen from them by the wizards, and kind of getting some semblance of their abilities back. And I like what they're trying to do. It just, some of the motivations that they kind of gave out, they didn't work, and mostly for what happens in Act 3 for the finale is like, why specifically? It just, there could have been a little bit more dialogue between a couple characters that to kind of give more to what was happening there. Not to say the least that there are when it comes to the Shazam family, you know, that side of the storytelling, you know, there's a lot there. I like their chemistry between each other, the goofiness. Now let's talk a little bit about the comedy here, because I always enjoyed the just the silly humor that it comes with, you know, kids being superheroes and kind of how they do that. The comedy here is mixed, I'll say that. There is a few cringy, corny jokes in here, and I'm like, they really did that. Damn. I'm not gonna lie. There's one specific point where I'm like, with a specific brand of candy that I'm like, did they really do that? Oh my god, that's okay. I'll let it slide here, but boy. Yeah. Besides that, the humor. Besides that, there were some fun little things, and I genuinely did like laugh and giggle here and there. But it's there are points where it's like, that's corny. That's corny. That's a little much. Could have been better. The action for the action's really where it hits really hard here. A lot of action sequences when it's on the screen. Really fun, really intense, really on stakes for sure. They do not hold back. Mostly when you're fighting Shazam and gods, so there's a lot of destruction, a lot of fun moments here and there. Now, the rest of the film, just in general, it's enjoyable. I had fun watching it. It's just there are just little, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of little hiccups, a lot of little missteps, and a lack of some character dynamics or dialogue that could have helped. Just reassured a couple scenes here and there, a little bit more reasons and motivations. And then what I've seen so far as divisive is kind of the finale. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to say this for sure. The finale for this film, the final third act, I really enjoyed where they were going with it. And it just kind of goes like almost off the rails, like just, and I'm like, and in a good and then bad way. Like, it's like, actually no, it went off the rails, and I'm like, oh shoot, whoa, that's crazy, that is awesome. And then it just kind of hits, just like, okay, we're here now. We were there, but we're here now. And by that, what I mean is, like, it went off the rails to a point where I'm like, oh my god, this really changes where things are going. And then it just like kind of a slap in the face. It's hard to talk about it without kind of spoiling it, but it was a very interesting take of what they were trying to do for a finale to finish this film off. And I was like, genuinely thought, okay, I know where this is going, to then getting like off the rails. I'm like, oh wow, I did not see this coming. Like, okay, to then just kind of this like get slapped in the face, like, yeah, no, this is what we're doing. And I'm like, it's a bit disappointing, because it would have been a little bit more interesting kind of to see where they would go from here. But you know, it was interesting, but you know, they and it kind of just then, and then there's just kind of some comedy at the end. It's just kind of like, okay, just because of where it was, I just didn't care at that point. Besides that, it is what it is at that point, you know, and I'll leave it at that. But besides that, I'll say this for the entire film. I'm gonna give this film, okay, here's where I'm thinking. I'm like divided between like a 6 and a 7. I'm gonna give this one, I'm trying to think, because I didn't really talk about the score. The score is pretty okay. There's nothing like really like momentous when it comes to the sound in this film. There's some good music in it, I'll say that, but nothing that really like upped any scenes here and there. So the score is fine here, and I'm gonna give this one a 6. I'm just gonna give this one it was a fine movie. It was a fine movie. I went, had my laughs, had some cringy moments. The acting was reasonably good. It just felt lackluster at points, and just kind of the finale really just kind of sucked out some of the stuff from me. There are 2 end credit scenes, and I see it's interesting what they're trying to do here, but that's something for another time. So yeah, I'm gonna give Shazam Fury of the Gods a 6 out of 10. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave it down in the comments. If you're on Spotify, leave a did you enjoy it with a thumbs up, or did you not with a thumbs down. So yeah, thanks again for listening or watching. Until next time, see ya.